This is Ronald Read. He became very popular after his death because of a secret he hid from everyone, including his family. He had accumulated an $8 million fortune. You might think this is common. Millionaires die every day. But Ronald was different. He grew up on a poor farm, finished only high school, and worked as a janitor for minimum wage for most of his life. Janitors made about $22,000 per year in the 2000s. Ronald transformed his minimum wage into $8 million, and I will tell you how he did it in this video. My name is Mohit, and I help teach people about money, personal finance, and investing. If you're interested in improving your financial future, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this video is helpful. The first secret that Ronald knew was not taught in schools. In the book, The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel states that wealth is measured by the amount of money that you have not spent. The amount of money coming in versus the amount of money going out, that is, income minus expense equals cash flow. If you have a positive cash flow, you will have money left over. If you have a negative cash flow, you are falling into debt. Let's assume your monthly income is $5,000. You have a zero or negative cash flow if your expenses are $5,000 or more. In this case, you will never be financially free and have to work until you die. On the other hand, if your monthly expenses are less than $5,000, you have a positive cash flow. After saving enough, you can make your money work for you and snowball it into future income, and when that future income can cover your living expenses, you're golden. Crunching the numbers is essential as well. You need to measure the money you have saved by your current age, as this would be key to being financially on track to retire as a millionaire by 65. If you start saving at 20 years old, you need to save $204 per month to retire as a millionaire by 65. If you start saving at 30, you must save $443 per month. At 40, $1,030 per month. At 50, $2,795 per month, and so on. Like most things in life, the earlier you start, the easier it will be because of time, but since I don't know your financial situation, these calculations are based on a few assumptions. 1. You're starting with $0 in savings. 2. You can grow your investments by 7% every year, and 3. You're increasing your monthly contributions each year by 2% to keep up with inflation. So if you're depositing $100 per month in year 1, you will be depositing $102 per month in year 2, and so on. Of course, this math changes depending on many variables, but the earlier you start saving, the better off you'll be. What's the best way to save money? Instead of tracking everything, there is a very simple way to budget that makes it easy and saves time. This is the method the wealthy use. It's called budget automation. In this method, the monthly salary is automatically deposited into a checking account, from which the portion of the money you want to save or invest is automatically transferred into a savings account, and another portion for spending is transferred automatically to a spending account. This will include your fixed monthly bills and typical living expenses. Now you can set spending targets for food, entertainment, travel, shopping, etc. At the end of each month, you will know what you didn't use because that money will be left in the spending account. You can save, invest, or roll over this remaining amount to the next spending month. This budget automation strategy isn't for everyone, but it's simple to set up. Psychologically speaking, the more obstacles we have, the less likely we are to do it. Tom Corley, in his book, Rich Habits, states that more than 75% of millionaires came from a poor background and were self-made, just like Ronald Read. But there is one thing that he noticed all millionaires have in common, and the IRS also verified this fact, and it's that nearly all of them had multiple income sources. Ronald Read had two main ones, his janitor job and another, which we will discuss later. The main benefit of having multiple income streams is that you would be less dependent on any single source of income, and won't be financially ruined if something happened to your primary income source. Even if you earn only $100 a week from a secondary source of income, that will help you substantially increase your cash flow. There are many ways you can earn some extra money. You can do overtime, ask for a raise, get extra qualifications and a better job, or start a side hustle. Side hustles are a great way to make extra money. Depending on the side hustle you start, it will require you to work a couple of extra hours every few days, but trust me, it'll be worth it in the end. Ronald didn't become a multimillionaire by just perfecting the cash flow formula. He had another secret. No one knew about this, not even his family. The truth finally came out after he died. Ronald had been investing in about 95 different stocks throughout his lifetime. He was an investor who focused on a company's fundamentals, which meant he analyzed the company's intrinsic value and ensured the investment made sense both quantitatively and qualitatively. Everyone commits one investing mistake that costs them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But first, I want to tell you a story. Centuries ago, there was an emperor in China who learned about chess and was so impressed by this game that he offered the game's inventor one wish, anything he wanted. The inventor humbly said that he just wanted rice, 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard, then 2 grains on the second, 4 on the third, and doubling all the way through to the 64th black and white square. The emperor quickly agreed, smirking, thinking that this was such a silly and simple request, but this single promise led to the collapse of his entire dynasty. By the 30th square alone, the emperor's debt had amounted to over 1 billion grains of rice. By the time he reached the 64th square, the emperor owed him 18 quintillion grains of rice, bankrupting the entire kingdom, and this is precisely what Ronald Read did. He invested his money where it would compound in the long term. When he got his janitor's paycheck every 2 weeks, he would keep adding to his investments. Let's say you save $1,000 in year 1 and get a 10% interest on it. You'd make $100. In year 2, you'd make $110 because your investment is no longer just $1,000. With your 1-year interest, it's now worth $1,100. After year 2, your investment is worth $1,210, so your interest in year 3 will be $121. Over time, you earn interest on the money you initially saved, and the interest you received for that original amount. If we graph this out, we can see an exponential growth curve, which is why Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. This is fine and all, but what would you do if you saw the stock market crash 50% tomorrow? Most of you will sell your holdings, because no one wants to lose their money. Throughout Ronald's life, he witnessed 11 stock market crashes and bear markets, yet he still held on to his investments because he knew that you couldn't time the market. Your best bet is to continue investing for the long term, regardless of whether the market goes up or down. One of the top equity analysts in the world, Andrew Stotz, observed a 10-year period from 2005 to 2015 and ran the data through multiple simulations, and concluded that if you missed the 10 best market days, over this specified 10-year period, you would stand to lose on average 66% of the gains you would have captured by staying in the market. In layman's terms, when the market moves up, it will move up very quickly, and if your money is on the sidelines, you'll risk missing out on some of the best days the market has to offer, so stop trying to time the market and stop panicking. What interested me the most about Ronald Read was how he learned so much about investing, and the answer I found was pretty simple. He actively sought out knowledge. Ronald went to his local library and read the Wall Street Journal and other things for free. He talked to his neighbors who worked at banks to learn more about money and everything. Nobody is perfect, however, not even Ronald Read. As intelligent as he was, some of his investments failed miserably, such as Lehman Brothers, which collapsed during the 2008 financial crisis. But despite this setback, he continued to invest. He was able to get through this because his investments were diversified with other stocks. We all make mistakes. Maybe you made a bad investment in the past, you think you're starting too late, or you bought something unnecessary, but I'm here to tell you that it's okay. Don't give up, but there are some things you absolutely cannot make a mistake with to avoid being broke. Click on this video to learn why 95% of people are broke, and what you should do instead.